Home sweet home. Eden Alexander's toasting to his freedom in his first social media post after spending 600-plus days in Hamas captivity. You can see him wearing the Star of David necklace there. We've learned it was gifted to him by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. It belonged to Witkoff's late son, Andrew, and it reportedly told Eden, "You would be doing a great honor to my son if you keep wearing it." Meanwhile, Israeli Defense Forces spokesperson Doron Spielman joins us right now. Great to see you, sir.
Nice to see you too, Brian.
First off, your thought about the release. I mean, it was pretty dynamic. It's almost as if Israel wasn't really involved in this that much, right?
Look, him coming home, like Steve Witkoff said, he's one of their children. Every Israeli looks at Eden Alexander as if their own son was brought home. This is so emotional. And to see that gift that Witkoff gave him shows, I think, the understanding of the United States and the American people. He understood the suffering. His son wore that necklace, an overdose on OxyContin. And he gave it to Eden Alexander to say, I know what you've been through. I know that you were in those dungeons underneath Hamas. You're going to make it through this, because he's going to need that necklace, not for today, for the next 5 years.
The IDF kind of put a time limit on it. If we don't get the rest of the hostages out, they believe 23 is still alive, we're going to start taking Gaza more and more land every single day. Where is that at now?
That's the only reason this deal came through. I know that the administration is saying that they're afraid of Trump. They're not afraid of Trump. Hamas is not afraid of Trump. They're afraid of Trump giving the green light to Israel to take over the Gaza Strip, because Hamas cares about two things: killing Israelis and surviving. The only thing that's going to stop that is if Israel pushes them to the end. It's the only way, Brian, we're going to get those hostages
home. How do you feel about Israel's role in this trip? It's really about the Gulf states. Some say Israel feels kind of left out.
I think we are left out. I think the fact that the president's not visiting us, we have to understand the U.S. and Israel, we're not just allies. We actually share common values. It's what I wrote about in my book. We share the foundations of the Bible. These countries that are coming and going, they're opportunistic. In fact, Qatar, where the president is right now, they house Hamas's leaders, and they teach an ideology that says that there was no Bible in Jerusalem. Muhammad was the first person in Jerusalem. I face this every day in the city of David, attacks by Qatar, by Hamas. And so the very foundational values of the United States are rejected by Qatar. We have to be extremely careful with what we're doing here.
In your new book, The Untold Story of the Rediscovery of the Ancient City of David in Jerusalem, where do you go to get your new news? And where do you go archaeologically, and what do you discover?
I go 7 stories underneath the ground. In Jerusalem, we're outside the walls of the old city. We found the actual city. We dig deep beneath the ground down to the bedrock of Mount Moriah, which is the actual mountain Abraham used to bound Isaac. And that's where we uncovered right now the Pilgrimage Road. It's unbelievable. The place where Jews, non-Jews, early Christianity, they walked up to the Temple Mount. And there, Brian, we found actual coins that say on them for the freedom of Zion. And the problem is, for Qatar and for Hamas, those coins that said for the freedom of Zion were minted 600 years before Muhammad. So how can you be teaching a whole generation of Palestinians, of Hamas, people on campuses in the United States, that Jews are colonialists in their land when we have proof that they're not?
Yeah, absolutely, and people don't want to hear that, but they do want to read your book, and here's an excerpt from it, and I'll read it if it's okay. On October 8th, this is your reflection in the aftermath. The day after the Hamas massacre, I was in military uniform, standing on the southern border with Gaza, on an empty highway near the Israeli city of Sturdad. Silence hung heavily in the air. The road was a graveyard of hundreds of abandoned vehicles, overturned, smashed-in light poles, burned-out metal frames, left as the grim remnants of chaos. The ground was littered with what remained of disrupted lives: backpacks, baby bottles, scattered belongings left behind in panic. I stood by one of the wrecked cars with a fellow soldier who had driven south with me. The weight of what had happened pressed down on me. Hearing those remarks, you put them down in black and white. What should people know about that day?
You have to know, if somebody comes to erase your history, like Hamas came to erase Israel, if they deny the Holocaust, if they deny the foundations of the Bible, the next thing you're going to do is to try to erase you. As I stood on that street, I realized I had already started writing the book. Why didn't I wake up? Why didn't I realize where this would lead? We should have known. The United States, what's happening on campuses here and in hallways and in Israel, we are facing an existential threat to our identity, Brian. And if we don't stand up now, and that's what I did in this book, it's a roadmap back to the truth of our foundations that are grounded in the archaeology in Jerusalem. If we stand up for that, then we can ultimately win.
When the Stones Speak is the name of it. By the way, we are winning. We are winning. And there's a huge pushback everywhere. Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Brian. Great to see you.
Meanwhile, keep fighting.